The land of Tamacha was a place of red earth and ancient whispers. When the morning sun rose over its rolling hills, the ground glowed as if the ancestors themselves had set fire beneath the soil. Palm trees leaned in the wind, their fronds rustling like hands clapping in eternal rhythm. The air carried the scent of wood smoke, palm oil, and earth after rain. To a traveler arriving from beyond the hills, Tamacha would appear almost like a dream. Clusters of huts with thatched roofs arranged in circles, smoke coiling lazily into the sky, children's laughter mingling with the calls of distant drums. Yet, Tamacha was not only the place of men, it was also the land of serpents, scared serpents, great pythons that the people called fathers returned. To the people, the python was not an ordinary creature. Its long, coily body was a river of memory. Its unblinking eyes were the gaze of the ancestors, watching silently from the shadows. When a python slid across a courtyard, no hand was raised in alarm. Mothers lowered their voices and whispered blessings. Children stepped back and bowed their heads. To see the serpent was to be reminded that the land itself was alive with spirit. The people of Tamacha feared many things: drought, war, plague, but not the python. For the python was their shield. Their fathers had told them, and their fathers' fathers before them, that the python had saved the land in the time of war. When such a creature died, its passing was mourned as if a chief had fallen. Men dug a deep grave in the earth. Women sang the dirge of their ancestors. The chief priest poured palm wine upon the ground, chanting prayers to guide the soul of the serpent to the land of the spirits. Its body was wrapped in white cloth, decorated with palm fronds and lowered with reverence. To kill a python was to invite death itself. For the proverb was clear: he who raises his hand against the python raises his hand against Tamacha. The memory of the war with Azu still lived in every story, every moonlight gathering. Elders recalled how many generations ago the warriors of Azu came like a storm, fierce men with scared bodies and spears tipped with iron. They marched upon Tamacha to seize its fertile land, to enslave its sons and scatter its people. For 3 years the war battle raged. Spears clashed in the dust, drums thundered across the night, blood stained the yam field. But when the Azu warriors tried to force the main gate of Tamacha, they found the way back, not by men, but by the serpents. The ground itself twisted with life. Pythons rose in their hundred, gliding from the forest, from the huts, from the very earth. Their hissing was like thunder. Their bodies coiled around Azu warriors, breaking bones, crushing shield, sending men screaming back into the darkness. Time and again Azu came with fire and iron. Time and again the pythons rose to meet them. At last, broken and terrified, the Azu warriors fled, leaving Tamacha standing unbroken. And so the decree was made: the python was never to be harmed, for it was the soul of the land. Even children grew up with the law, etched into their hearts. Boys recited it before they learned to wrestle. Guests sang it before they learned to weave. It was taught with the morning sun and whispered into the ears of newborns. The python is our father. The python is our shield. The python is Tamacha. At the center of this world stood Achi, one of the elders of the council. Achi was a man of proud bearing, his jaw square, his eyes sharp as flint. His wisdom carried weight in the gatherings of men. People listened when he spoke, for his words seemed to carry the gravity of stone. In his heart, the most scared of serpents had made his dwelling. It was a massive python, his body thick as a man's thigh, his skin glistening bronze in the firelight. This serpent was no stranger to the people. It had lived in Achi's hut for longer than anyone remembered. Some said it was as old as Achi himself, perhaps older. When it slid across the floor, its scales rustling against the clay, men and women bowed their heads. To Achi, his presence was a blessing, a proof that his household was favored by the ancestors. It fed it eggs, fowl, and goats. He greeted it with blessings. When it appeared, he would pause his speech, lower his head, and whisper, "Walk with me, Father, and guide my steps." In that same hut, under the same roof, lived his son Achi, a boy of 15 seasons, restless, bold, and curious. Achi's laughter often rang through the courtyard, his quick mind always chasing questions. He loved to wrestle with his friend Obiora, to sneak into yam fields, to pester his father with endless riddles. Yet, though Achi was clever, there was fire in him that Achi feared. Achi did not bow as deeply as the others when the python appeared. He watched with curious eyes, half in awe, half in unease. On the day of the annual festival of the serpents, Achi stood among the crowd as the drums pounded. The people wore white clothes, their bodies painted with chalk. The chief priest poured palm wine on the ground, invoking the spirits. Masqueraders danced, their costumes flaring like spirit of fire. And from the shadows, one by one, the python slid forth. The crowd gasped and sang. Children clung to their mothers, half afraid, half treed. Achi, proud, raised his head and proclaimed, "Behold our fathers, who guide us still." The people roared with voices of faith, but Achi, standing in the crowd, whispered to Obiora, "Tell me, brother, why should I bow to a snake? Can a snake know me? Can a snake protect me?" Obiora shushed him quickly, fear flashing in his eyes. "Speak not such words, Achi. The gods may hear. Do you want death to strike your tongue?" Yet the words had already been spoken. In the heart of the boy, the seed of doubt had been planted. That night, as the festival fire died and the people sang the closing songs, Achi lay awake in his hut, staring at the roof. He heard the serpent's slow movement in the shadows, its scales rasping against the earth. The sound filled with him unease. He remembered his father's proud voice, the chant of the chief priest, the fear in Obiora's eyes. Yet in his mind echoed another thought. What if the snake is only a snake? The land of Tamacha lay at peace, but the storm was gathering. A storm of not spears and iron, but of words and beliefs. The strangers had not yet arrived, but their footsteps were already on the path. And in the restless heart of a boy named Achi, the fate of Tamacha would soon be tested.